حلقة جديدة من اوراق دبلوماسية. زيارة هي الأولى من نوعها، وهي زيارة الرئيس السلوفيني روبرت باهور في زيارته لمصر لمدة يومين، وهي الزيارة اللي جاية في نفس توقيت كمان احتفال سلوفينيا بمرور 25 عام على استقلال سلوفينيا. تعالوا نتابع حلقتنا النهاردة من اوراق دبلوماسية. Would like to congratulate you for the 25th anniversary of independence.
Thank you, and good evening to you too. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm very honored to be a guest in your country.
How do you see the future of the cooperation and the relations, the bilateral relations between both countries, Egypt and Slovenia?
Well, today we already had a meeting with your president, and tomorrow we also have meetings with your government, with some ministers, and we have business delegation also here. And we feel that there is plenty of opportunities also on political and also on economical and business area. So we are looking forward to this cooperation. Especially as my field of interest is, of course, infrastructure. We are preparing here an agreement between two countries in the field of air traffic, which will be important for both countries, let's say in sense of increasing tourism. We are also looking forward in increase of traffic in maritime. We have a very important port.
An agreement for maritime.
We are trying to agree also on that field, yes, because it is very important, of course, for Egyptian ports and also for our port of Koper, which we see as a gateway to Central and Southeastern Europe. So it will be very important for all of us that this cooperation will even more increase.
What were the most significant outcomes of the meeting today with the president, with the Egyptian president?
Well, I can only confirm that this was a very friendly meeting. Although the presidents met for the first time, this is first presidential official meeting of President of Republic Slovenia here in Egypt, and well, they found that there are very common interests, as I said, in the field of politics, business, cultural relationships. So today we have an occasion where we can celebrate a work of Slovenian architect here in Egypt. So this is long-going and fruitful relations.
We've heard His Excellency in his speech today when he was talking about the future of Slovenia. It's promising, and they had a hard time maybe in 2009 when he came here in Egypt, and he talked about how it's recovering the economy and the financial status in Slovenia, and even in Egypt here we have the same issues, we have the same problems, and it's recovering. So how do you think this visit and bilateral relations between Slovenia and Egypt are contributing? How would this contribute to the promising future of both countries?
Well,
recovery, especially this process.
We think that stability is the main issue which is needed, that economy will also recover. So political stability, which is increasing, as well as Slovenia, and as I heard today, also in Egypt. So this is the main fundament on which we can build to increase then and to develop good economic development, and this is of utmost importance.
We know also that in Slovenia you have a very strong infrastructure. In Slovenia, after after the independence, it's getting better and better and improving. And we have even here in Slovenia one company that bought a factory for electric power production in Slovenia. So how do you see this as influencing even the relations between both countries and the betterment of Egypt as well?
Well, infrastructure in Slovenia is very well developed. If you, let's say, in the field of motorways, we have to modernize railways, which is the same case as we talked today with your Prime Minister. You are also focusing on modernizing railway. We have found that there is also an important area where we could cooperate is in the field of hydropower power plants, where there is also a need in your country to modernize some of them, which were in their early stage when they were constructed. There were also Slovenian companies which cooperated there, which constructed there. So those companies are of course interested to cooperate also now with modernization.
In today's fast-moving, integrated world economy, potential investors seeking to gain access to a thriving market should look no further than Egypt. Egypt is your access to the world. The routes are paved, the infrastructure is set, natural resources are readily available. New laws have opened new doors. A 26 million strong skilled labor force is on call. 1.6 billion consumers are waiting. The stock market is on the rise. The potential for high return is prime. The economy is in line for versatile growth and stability is firmly in place. Now is the time to become a partner in Egypt's growth and development for the future.
And we have here Mrs. Daria Kurat, Deputy Foreign Minister of Slovenia. Welcome in Egypt.
Thank you. Welcome.
Congratulations for the 25th anniversary for independence.
Shukran. Shukran Jazir.
There was a meeting, the meeting with the Egyptian President al-Sisi today. From your point of view, what are the outcomes, the most significant outcomes that you came out from this meeting today?
Well, first it's very important that two presidents met. And it's obvious that they developed a very good chemistry, which comes out of the essence of relations between our two countries. As you see from this exhibition, the relations started much earlier than actually Slovenia became a country. So there was people-to-people cooperation much earlier in art, in architecture, in music and so on. And of course, during these 25 years of our independence, we managed to develop very good relations with Egypt, also business to business and government to government. We believe that this is a good opportunity to take our relations to a next level, to discover more opportunities for the economic cooperation, especially taking in consideration our technologies. We are very good in technologies and innovations. And of course we are an export-oriented country. With 2 million we export quite a lot to all Europe and also elsewhere. And of course to strengthen government-to-government cooperation when it comes to the challenges that we are facing, everybody. The instability in the Middle East, instability in the region that you are living, but of course also some challenges that we have in the European Union. Slovenia is a member of the European Union and member of NATO, so this is also an area that is very important for the cooperation with Egypt, especially the European Union, which has a large, vast area of cooperation with Egypt. And in this area we can find some synergies as well. It's very important when we speak also about the security issues. These are the issues that Europe and Slovenia we are very much concerned of, and we have to find possibilities to share information, to share the ways how we think it would be the best to get out of the a kind of a security deadlock that we are all facing.
Heard His Excellency the President today when he was talking in his speech that he was saying that we share, Slovenia, Egypt and Slovenia, they share the same point of view in the peaceful solutions for all the problems and maybe the, as you said, the political stability and in the area. How would this visit or the bilateral relations between both countries contribute to this view or to this attitude?
Well, more we strengthen the bilateral cooperation with several countries in the region, we have more leverage to be a part of a political process. The European Union is the biggest donor in the region. But the European Union and Slovenia, as a member of the European Union, we would like to, for the European Union also to be a part of a political process. And that is very important. Not the European Union that is taking care only about the consequences, but be a part of political process. And I'm sure that two presidents were speaking in these lines.
Mrs. Ambassador, Mrs. Tanya Vashkova. We've heard the President today, he's talking in his speech about the relations between both countries, and he talked about his meeting with the Egyptian President al-Sisi. How do you see the visit, how do you see the future of the relations after this visit and the future of both countries? And he even talked about the peaceful solutions that they are committed to in Slovenia and we are committed to here in Egypt. How do you see this visit as contributing to this view?
Well, this visit represents, we are opening a new page in our relations. We have developed in the last 25 years close relations, close cooperation. It kind of stalled during the last turmoil years, but now it's picking up again in all fields. We're seeing cultural events happening. We have a business delegation in town of very strong companies. So we are really turning a new page in our bilateral relations, and the President's visit is aimed at giving a strong push in this regard. Slovenia and Egypt share many similar views to the challenges that this region and our region face today, and this is why it's important for friendly countries like Slovenia and Egypt to discuss issues, because none of these issues can be resolved by one country or even a small group of countries. We need to join our efforts, and especially countries that believe in peaceful solutions to the conflict. We need to work together in order to prevail over those who propose violence.
The Slovenian embassy here in Egypt, it's the one and only embassy, Slovenian embassy in the Arab world in Africa. What's the significance of this being the only one in the whole Arab world from your point of view?
Well, when we opened our embassy here in the early 1990s, it was of course a symbol of the importance that Egypt represented for a country, a newly independent country like Slovenia. Egypt is a regional leader, is the biggest market, it's the biggest political power, a very big economic power, a very big potential market for our companies. So in all aspects, a very culturally important regional power. So in all aspects, for Egypt, for us, was tremendously important. This is why we opened our embassy here. Of course, in the future, we hope we will have more embassies in Africa, maybe in other Arab countries. But for now, yes, Egypt remains our first and major partner.
Yaskitishi.
Hi, welcome in Egypt. I know you told me that you've lived here in Egypt for like 12 years. So you went back, or you're still living here? Because I have to ask you some stuff about the eye of a photographer. So are you still living here?
Yes, I live here since 2004. I live and work in Egypt.
I knew from you that you're an engineer, but you shifted. I know from you that you're an engineer, basically, but you shifted to being a photographer. Definitely, it's like a hobby, or it's something that it's a passion for you, right? So you have an eye of a photographer, that you have something that you want to say from your photos. If, as part of the visit for the Slovenian president, definitely you want to show us something in your photos, and you want to show or present Slovenia in a different way with your eyes as a photographer. What is it?
When I moved to Egypt, I was looking for things that are common, what connects Egypt and Slovenia. And like an architect, Anton Laščák, was born in Slovenia, and he came and lived and worked in Egypt. So this is the connection, and since I came, for the last 15 years, I'm documenting his works. So all these palaces are his work, and I'm bit by bit, slowly but slowly, documenting this link between Egypt and Slovenia. So this exhibition is a result of my 15 years long exploration, research and documentation, accompanied with a text from students of University of Ljubljana that recently studied the architect Anton Laščák.
As you lived here in Egypt, and you said that you were trying to find the common things in Egypt and Slovenia, in the two cultures, what are the main or the most significant common points that you can see from in Egypt and Slovenia as two cultures? And definitely they are two different cultures.
I mean, there is, but I was more looking what's the link. What do we have, a specialist, a great person that came from one country to another. It's like the ex Boutros Ghali from United Nations, the ex head. He was brought up by Slovenian government. So there are some common links, and this is one of them. Otherwise, the culture, yes, are very different, but we at the same time we have a lot in common as well.
And in regard of the photos that you're taking here, you were trying to express maybe the architecture. Do you find any common things in the architecture of Slovenia or in Egypt?
No, at that time this we could call not Slovenia. This was like a Central European influence when Egypt was being rebuilt, creating a modern Egypt. So many European architects came here at the request of Khedive Palace. So they were building it. So basically trying to recreate Paris along the line, like Cairo, some say, and in the other cities as well. Leaving their footprint. But this is the footprint of modern Europe, of modern world at that time. And as well as that became a modern Egypt.
You mean the architecture? It shows that's
the same. There were Italian architects, there were Greek architects, Austrian, German. So all together they were building modern Egypt.
Slovenian citizen, what signifies the architecture? Because you're taking photos for the architecture, basically. What signifies Slovenia in regards of architecture?
Regards the architecture, it's just that he was born in Slovenia. Otherwise, the architecture style that we see, it's a European architecture style at that time. That means late 19th century till the Second World War.
And again, as a Slovenian citizen, how do you see the importance of the Slovenian president's visit to Egypt?
I mean, it's very important that the countries collaborate and they come close to each other. The world become much smaller, and such event can bring countries together. And I would like to say that parallel to this project, there is another project going on. This is collaboration between students of University of Cairo and students of University of Ljubljana, which are together researching the great works of Anton Lashchak.
That's great. And when it's launching, this program?
This project was now for the last nine days. The students of University of Cairo and University of Ljubljana, they were.
They started already. It's launched already.
They were researching all these buildings and having discussions, lectures about this topic now, and we hope that this collaboration will grow into some more bigger and not just a temporary and some long-lasting.
As a photographer, what do you wish for the cultural cooperation between Egypt and Slovenia? Do you find in the future that maybe there could be other opportunities or chances for cultural cooperation between both countries?
Of course, there is always plenty of opportunities to collaborate on a cultural field. Plenty. Like when in 2008, I was helping in organizing months of Egyptian culture in Slovenia. So we invited many people. So there were like the orchestra came and performed, and then there was some writers, and so we had the exchange of the culture.